let's consider this problem. We're solving for x. So the first thing we want to do is get the x by itself. So notice I'm going to divide by 2. That means these are going to cancel. And I have x to the 2/3 power equals 4, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now I have this. Now to get rid of a fractional exponent, what you want to do is raise both sides of this to the 3/2 power. That's the reciprocal of 2/3. So notice if I do that, I'm raising this side to the 3/2 power, and I'm also going to do the same thing to this other side. And because you multiply these, because when you take a power of a power, you multiply those, and they're reciprocals, you're just going to get x, because this 3 cancels with that 3, and this 2 cancels with that 2. So x equals 4 to the 3/2 power. Now, that literally means this. This 2 tells us it's a square root of 4, and the 3 that's in the numerator slot there means it's the square root of 4 cubed. Well, the square root of 4 is 2, and 2 cubed is 8. So this answer is 8. X is 8. And if you take that 8 and put it back in the original problem up here, it checks out, because what we're going to do, in fact, I'll do that right here. Let's say I had 2. So what I want to know is, does that work? Putting it back in the original problem. Well, 8 to the 2/3 power is the cube root of 8 squared. So the cube root of 8 is 2, 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So this checks. So I know this answer is right, because when I put it back in the original, it checks out. So that's one problem. Let's look at a little more difficult of a problem. There's another problem here. Let's say I have 2 times x plus 11 to the half power equals x plus 3. So what I want to do with something like this is because this is raised to the half power, I'm going to square both sides. So notice if I put all of this in parentheses and I square it, and I'm going to square that as well, this ends up being 4 times x plus 11 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now basically what's happening here is I'm squaring the 2. 2 squared is 4. And when I square this, it gets rid of that half and makes it x plus 11. X plus 3 squared is x plus 3 times x plus 3. And if you FOIL that out, this is what you get over here. Now, of course, I'm going to go ahead and multiply this. 4x plus 44 when I multiply using the distributive property. And then I have this over here. So I'm going to swing these guys over and subtract them. So I'm subtracting 4x from both sides, and I'm subtracting 44 from both sides. Now, if you do that, of course, you get nothing over there, because these things are leaving. I'm subtracting them. And so this is going to end up being x squared plus 2x minus 35, because negative 44 plus 9 is negative 35, and 6x minus 4x is 2x. So then I'm left to factor that. So just using the guess and check method there. So I know that's x and x. So the question is, what multiplies to be negative 35 and adds to be 2? Well, that's going to be 7 and 5. And notice it needs to be positive 7 and negative 5 in order to multiply to be negative 35 and add to be 2. So that's that. So it means I have 2 answers, or maybe 2 answers. So that's 5 and negative 7, apparently. Because if you put 5 here, you get 0 there. If you put negative 7 there. So I've got 5 and negative 7. But you have to always check your answers with these kind of problems. You're checking for extraneous solutions. An extraneous solution would be a solution that you get that doesn't actually check out in the original problem. So I'm going to put these back in and check it. So I've got 5 and -7. So over here, I'm going to write the original question, the original problem. And I'm going to think about 5 going in there first. Well, if I put 5 here, get 8. If you put 5 here, 5 plus 11 is 16. 16 to the half power means the square root of 16, which is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So the 5 is a good answer. Let's see about -7. If I do -7, if I put -7 in here, I get -4. I can already tell that's going to be a problem. So if you put -7 here, -7, well, maybe, yeah, we'll see. -7 plus 11 is 4. 4 to the half power is the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Well, that's close, but that's not the same thing. So -7 is an extraneous solution. It's a solution that doesn't check. So I marked through it. I can't use that. The only answer is 5 here. So just have one answer, and it's 5, because the -7 did not check because of this negative.